Hello, hello. Once again, this is Blackjack, and today we'll be going over RWBY's Blake Belladonna. Blake stands out amongst the main RWBY cast as being the one character where her concept art is completely different from her final design. Even RWBY, who didn't even have a story written, had most of the same elements, such as the skirt and cape. Weiss still had the white dress, and you'll see next time that Yang's outfit was pretty much decided upon from the get-go. Blake, however, had a complete overhaul. Barring her hair, her beta design is nothing like her final, and taking a look at it, it almost has a sort of pirate design to it as opposed to her more ninja. It's got high boots, a far fancier coat, and fingerless gloves, along with a lot of gold accents that were definitely dropped in the final design. The only thing that really vaguely resembles what we ended up with was the jacket and top combo. Much like her actual black and white top, Beta Blake's design had a clear distinction, even if the colors looked to be a bit more similar than pure black and white. Overall, there's not really a lot to say about it. Even if it is completely different, it doesn't tell us anything about Blake as a character. Aside from her having cat ears, which is present on her normal design, you wouldn't know anything about her from looking at the outfit. What this design does tell us is that the idea of the Faunus race was decided pretty early on, as Blake does still have her cat ears. This, plus some other later details, makes me think that the White Fang storyline was thought up pretty early into development. And notably, one of her ears has a golden spot on it, maybe a bit more calico than the straight black cat that she ended up being. Of course, I don't really know the reason why this was dropped, but I imagine it's more just to strengthen the whole Black the Beast thing. More interesting is Blake's eyes. While she ended up having two golden eyes, evocative of a cat, her concept art depicts her as having heterochromia, with one golden eye and one blue eye. Now, there is a theory for why she has one blue eye, but I feel this design came a little too early for that to hold too much weight. And now's a good time to mention that this video, as well as Yang's, will be a bit more spoiler heavy, just due to circumstances that appear later on. I'll try to avoid too many story spoilers, but some things are a little unavoidable, given what happens and the kind of things that happens around them. For the first timestamp, skip ahead to the time displayed, as I'll be spoiling a pretty important moment in Volume 6. Got it? Okay, we're good. The theory goes that Blake had one blue eye to represent Adam. When we finally see him unmasked, he's shown to have bright blue eyes. The reason she has yellow, well, I'd honestly say it's because she's a cat, and black cats especially are known for having golden eyes, but I do have to mention that Yang is the one fighting her. Adam for blue eyes, Yang for yellow. I don't really think this story is true, as this design is probably made before the Adam story was really finalized, and maybe even before his design was finalized. Though I will say that the Disney version of Beauty and the Beast has both Adam, the name of the beast, and Gaston have blue eyes. Maybe that means something, maybe it doesn't. Probably just a reference that they used. Still, something worth mentioning. And now we can move on to Blake's second beta design. This one is far more recognizable as Blake, with only one difference between her final. Blake has a ribbon around her neck, and now normally I'd say that that's just about it and continue on, but there's a strange detail is that the ribbon was almost chosen over her final scarf. Though the concept art shows her with both the scarf and the ribbon, one of the storyboards from the Volume 1 opening shows Blake as just having the ribbon with no scarf. Another shows her with a scarf, but the distance makes it a bit more ambiguous. It's not, honestly, I'm not 100% sure if she has the scarf or not, it might just be the shading. In my opinion, this is probably more an oversight or more just skipping ahead, not worrying about all the details. I imagine the opening was made pretty close to the end of development of the first season once the story was properly figured out and everyone knew what point Season 1 would end on. There's been a couple of times where the writers have said, oh, this character from Volume 4, the Albanes, were supposed to be in Volume 1, so they didn't really know where they were going quite just yet at the beginning. Still, though, it's rather interesting to see that that was that late in development. Even if it was closer to the end, that's still pretty late. And if Blake had kept the ribbon over her scarf, we would have actually lost a pretty nice detail about her outfit. Which leads me into her actual final design. Boy, is that not subtle. If you're over the age of, say, 10, then you probably guessed that Blake was a Faunus long before it was ever revealed in the show. It's not exactly well hidden.
Oh, you mean the Faunus girl.
Wait, how did you know that?
The cat ears?
What cat ears? She wears a...
What was it that tipped you off, I wonder? Was it the bow that clearly looks like cat ears? Was it Blake's defensiveness over Faunus and the dislike of the Sheen Dust Company? Or was it the big cat face staring at you from the second one? Yeah, one wonders how Blake thought she can keep her fauna traits a secret when the white part of her top forms a cat face. Like, seriously. Look at it. You wouldn't have gotten that if she chose the ribbon instead, as it's built partially with the scarf. Blake's design is well constructed because it effectively uses the space to tell you some useful information. Along with very clearly telling you that she's a faunus and hiding because of her bow, you can see that Blake is prepared to fight. The ribbons on her arms actually connect with her weapon, Gamble Shroud, allowing her to toss it around like a chain scythe while allowing her to easily withdraw it. And she also has a magnetic backpack, allowing her to easily carry around her weapon without too much hassle. Both good when you're a runaway former terrorist. Another less combative note is that the zippers on her shorts are branded. Well, maybe. I've scoured various screenshots in volumes 1 through 3, but I couldn't really find anything that necessarily confirms that her zippers are marked with a real logo, YKK, a Japanese zipper company. This is the best shot I can find of her pants, but I still can't really see anything. The wiki says that they are, and I've heard this detail before I was deep diving, but I can't really confirm it visually. There aren't as many close-ups of Blake's pants, and the zippers are too small to make any detail, even Volume 3, which let you see Weiss's apple necklace. If they are branded, it's an interesting detail. I find it cool, but it's also kind of weird that there's a remnant version of a real company that Blake buys from. And no one else seems to really have anything like that. And with that odd little detail out of the way, I can go ahead and get to my word. Whereas Blake didn't actually give herself a descriptor when describing her friends, I found she was actually the easiest with my criteria. I believe that Blake's designs amplify duality. Blake's character is all about duality, and in several different aspects. Call it a cliche, but the notion is well represented in her clothing choice. All of her outfits are primarily black and white, and the finale of Volume 1 is even titled Black and White, itself referencing several aspects. The most obvious is race. While it's not exactly subtle, the character represented by black is part of the minority group, in this case the faunus, who face a lot of discrimination. Meanwhile, the character represented by white is shown to, at least initially, be very discriminatory and represents a large populace of people that oppress the faunus. Black and White, the episode, concludes the arc of Team RWBY finding a runaway Blake after finding out that she is a faunus, another duality. She's playing both the human and the faunus sides. The episode ends with Weiss and Blake reconciling, with Blake understanding that Weiss had good reasons to be distrustful of the faunus, and Weiss understanding that not all faunus are radical White Fang members. Again, cliche, but things aren't always black and white. Now are they? And aside from black and white and human and faunus, Blake also represents duality in the form of her fairy tale origin, as does her opposite Adam. She's named after Belle from Beauty and the Beast, so she's Beauty, right? Well, yes, but not quite. Weapons are pretty important of a character's design in RWBY, with most representing something about a character, whether it be Weiss's classy royal rapier or Yang's in-your-face and stylish gauntlets. Blake is one of the few characters that dual-wield weapons, and barring Winter, she's the only one to wield asymmetric weapons. Gamble Shroud functions as 4 weapons in one, being a pistol, katana, kusarigama, and the sheath functions itself as a cleaver. And why bring this up now? Well, part of the metaphor in Blake's design is her weapon itself. In one hand, she wields the small, sleek, multifunctional katana, and in the other, the larger, heavier cleaver. Together, as evidenced by this note talking about it, they show that Blake is both beauty and beast. Adam also shares in this double meaning. Though it'd be easy to say he's the beast of Blake's beauty, as his name was chosen on the rumored production name of the Beast in the Disney movies, more recent theories have sprung up based on his design. As opposed to RWBY's scatter, Adam's symbol is a wilting rose, representing the rose that marked the beast's curse. If he didn't find true love, he'd stay a beast forever and his entire castle would be cursed. The beauty and beast symbolism is still there between Blake and Adam, Blake being the beauty, Adam being the beast, but Blake also being the beast, adding more dualities. However, he also shares a lot with Gaston, the villainous hunter out to kill the beast, who, in the end of the Disney movie, incites a group of people to attack someone that's done nothing wrong, much like the White Fang and Adam's brutal methods in attacking innocent civilians. This theory goes that Adam is the all-encompassing antagonist of Beauty and the Beast. He's the monster, but he's also the curse, and also the man aiming to kill anyone who get in the way of the girl he believes belongs to him, Gaston having an obsessive crush on Belle. Beast, Rose, and Hunter, just as Blake is both Beauty and Beast. Black and White, Human and Faunus, Beauty and Beast. And I could go on about how Blake represents other dualities like Cowardly and Brave, Runaway and Homeowner, and on as the story progresses. But those first three are the ones that are displayed pretty well in her outfits. And that's honestly one thing about the beta design I kind of miss. The spot on her ear and the mismatched eyes would have actually made a pretty good visual metaphor for Blake's duality. Then again, they're also a bit too protagonisty for me. There's a million series out there where heterochromia is meant to show the main character is special in some way, and we didn't really need that for someone who's already a main character, and someone who is on a team with somebody else with special eyes. And honestly, Neo covers the heterochromia thing rather well herself. The reason Blake's word was easiest to find is that it's present on all of her outfits, which leads me right into her Intruder outfit. With an actually decent segue this time, the Intruder outfit doesn't say much more about Blake herself, but it's still got a bit more going on than the Slayer and Snopey outfits. For one, it keeps the theme, with black and white color scheming. It also gives us a look at the well-adopted term, but butt cape. And there's not really many other descriptors for that. The sash-like claw hanging from Blake's waist is one of the many RWBY-isms the series has. It's not a piece of clothing that you would normally see walking around, but it's pretty popular in Remnant, though more on that with next episode. Honestly, I like the Intruder because it's a look in the more normal fashion of Remnant. While Ruby and Weiss's outfits and their secondary outfits feel pretty unique to them, Blake's here feels like something that just about any in town would wear. It's very uniquely RWBY as well, with the butt cape. In fact, I can visualize, say, a woman wearing that in some sort of music video. Right, that's because it is. If you're a fan of K-pop, you might have heard of Girls' Generation. If we take a look at their music video for The Boys, one outfit looks a little familiar. Combined with his tweet, band member Yuri inspired the Intruder look, having a similar white crop top and black pants with white stripes. For better or worse, Blake brings The Boys, and girls, out, considering her ever-increasing line of suitors. Somewhat related to bringing the boys out, Volume 4 saw Blake run away from her crazy ex, eventually ending up in her home country sporting a new outfit. Now sporting a very Seto Kaiba-esque outfit, as evidenced by this picture here by Mojo Jojo, one of the RWBY artists kind of brought on for Chibi. She wears a long white coat, a crop top, black pants, and black thigh-high boots. There's only a few differences between the beta and the final, but they are pretty minor. She's got some rings on her sleeves, a belt on her back, and some differences in the boots. Not really a whole lot worth saying for that, as opposed to the other designs. If I'm being honest, this is my least favorite of the Volume 4 outfits. It loses a lot of the unique elements of her original design and replaces them with, well, it's honestly just kind of a bit generic. Sure, I said the Intruder looked like a normal outfit that most people would wear, but this seems a bit too basic, considering the other characters all got costumes that reflected their state in the story. Honestly, Blake's time skip outfit is too fashionable. I don't really know entirely, but I feel that someone experiencing their worst nightmares coming to haunt them wouldn't look so casual as they're running away. I mean, it's a good look, but it doesn't carry any narrative weight. Once again, Blake's running away, and a more disheveled look or something that doesn't look like it was picked out of a high-end downtown shopping center might fit a bit better for her current role in the story. I suppose it is worth mentioning that, starting with Volume 4, Blake just stops wearing her ribbon altogether. She's embracing her faunus role, and even when it would probably serve her a bit better, say with Cordovan, she keeps the bow off, embracing her faunus heritage. That's not part of the outfit, but it is worth mentioning that she's actually embracing her faunus heritage and making that very public, very known, whereas before she hid it from literally everyone. Aside from just looking generically nice, the only real positive I have about it is that the crop top can still be read as a cat face with the little holes in the top. And that's kind of it. Otherwise, it looks pretty boring and doesn't have a whole lot to say. The coat is cool for animation, but that doesn't really fit Blake's arc at any point. In fact, there's only two reasons I can really justify its place in the story. One is for the joke of Gira avoiding directly asking Blake why she's showing so much skin. In addition to being pretty funny, it also shows that Gira still deeply cares for his daughter and doesn't resent her running away. Volume 3 ended with her completely drained of aura and her abuser Adam stabbing her with a sword. Something that arose from this is that people were scanning screenshots to see if Blake had a scar. While Weiss has her scar and Yang lost her arm, it was actually a little ambiguous whether or not Blake got one after being stabbed without her aura. I honestly saw several blogs taking blurry screenshots that didn't have quite enough detail to definitively prove anything. Now, she actually does have a scar, but I'll give a slight spoiler warning here. It's going to be hard to talk around this considering the circumstances. During the fight in Volume 6 with Adam, Blake loses her jacket, leaving her in just the crop top. This finally gives a full confirmation that she does have the scar, and the reveal comes at the same time she is fighting the person that gave it to her. 3 volumes of build-up led up to the reveal, even if we did get a sneak peek of it in the concept art. You saw her with just the crop top, but you didn't actually see her from the front without the jacket, so you couldn't see the scar. It getting fully revealed in the fight against Adam makes it carry a lot of narrative weight, as it shows that Blake is capable of fighting against the person that caused her so much damage in the first place. Though even if she actually does manage to win, she still carries that damage with her forever. Scars won't fade. That said, that's a small part of the design, and it's not even related to the outfit itself. Blake could have still worn a jacket and crop top, but I don't think that the one moment of the reveal makes the design work as well as it could have. Honestly, I'm a little disappointed that Blake went from an outfit so uniquely RWBY-esque to something a bit more generic. I feel her Volume 4 outfit doesn't reveal her place in the story in the same way as Ruby's more grown-up clothes and Weiss's forced heiress wardrobe. Again, something a bit less neat and clean would have worked a lot better, and then maybe she'd clean up after meeting up with everybody. Oh well. I am excited to see her new outfit, considering where the story is headed. After all, Atlas is filled with people that don't look too kindly on Faunus, and there's more of the reason than ever to wear something that covers her ears, and maybe her stomach. Listen to your father, Blake. Join me next time for everyone's favorite punslinger gunslinger, Yang Xiao Long. Blackjack out.